Hey, it's Drybear. We finally have a high-level synopsis of our April and May roadmap for Lost Ark. And spoiler alert, it does include a Lancemaster renamed to Glavier for the West. I'm sure there's going to be people that have opinions on that. And then we're going to have Destroyer in May, plus Vaulton, other content, stuff like that. So let's spend a little bit of time going through this this post here. Again, it's very high level. There's not a lot of very specific things in here, but it's enough to give us a sense of what they're planning and what's going on. So, but first, if you have any questions or comments for me, you'll find me live every day on twitch.tv/Drybear. Who knows? I might even be streaming right now. April and May roadmap. In March, Smilegate RPG joined us in our Seattle studios. This is what took them so long. Smilegate came from Korea to the US, to the West Coast, and spoke with Amazon, and they were able to kind of discuss. And usually anytime you have discussions between publisher and developer, especially if they're of different native languages, it does take a good while to get that all sorted out. But I'm pretty happy with what's in here, so that's pretty good. We'll start by reiterating a few things from the letter. We're going to keep near future focus on horizontal content and giving players clear paths for progression without feeling like they need to pay. So they're saying at a high level they want to keep things focused on steady progression and not feeling like you have to pay money in order to keep up with the content, which means that they probably do want to delay things. We want to give more players time to reach the end game before introducing Legion raids. The first one's Vaulton. So they are not going to be doing Vaulton in April this month. So I guess April's your month to actually have to catch up to Vaulton, get to 1400, 1415, and get through everything. So it gives us something to work towards, but you still have April to get through it. Our March 24 update included new materials to help with honing chances, more ways for players to earn weekly honing materials, and a honing materials gift. Yes, it did indeed. Glavier. So this is Lancemaster in other regions. This one it's another martial artist, female martial artist, has two stances, medium to long range, which beats out all the other martial artists that have medium to short range. Practicing an artistic and deadly form of martial arts, the Glavier slices and dices her way through the battlefield, weaving together attacks with her spear and glaive. And I think the Glavier is probably one of the most anticipated classes in the West right now. A lot of people are looking forward to it, myself included. The shorter spear is used to unleash a furious barrage in the flurry stance, while the longer glaive harnesses focus stance for gracefully lethal strikes and sweeping attacks. The shorthand of this for the Glavier is that you use your normal stance to build up meter for your bigger stance, then you spend it and come back and forth, but you do still stance swap. She has a cool counter slash riposte kind of thing. So she's a super cool class, but we'll leave that for another video. Join the War Dancer, yep, as a 5th martial artist advanced class. We're also gonna be getting South Vern, which is the west side of Vern, technically, on the western, on that Vern content. South Vern borrowed technology from many different races, turning this once barren land into a place of abundant waters and green pastures. Hearing rumors of the dangers that plagued North Vern, the Senate shut North Vern down and formed a new knightly order. What could be happening to this peaceful continent? We don't know. We'll find out soon. South Vern will join Punica as the 2nd tier 3 continent, requiring item level of 1340 to begin. So you need to be at Agrexian 1340 to do South Vern, but it gives us more content, which also means more dailies. It means new areas. It means new ways to farm and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. We'll be sharing information on how you work your way towards tier 3 and join this adventure. So I guess they are working on more ways to speed up the process to tier 3, which could be cool, but this is very generic. So I'll wait to see if this actually turns into anything before we comment on it. General updates, some quality of life. These are really cool, actually. I'm super hyped about the first one. South Vern and the Glavier Advanced class are not the only things that arrive in April. Stay tuned in the coming weeks for more release specifics, such as new login rewards, in-game events, and skins and store updates. A Phaeton Power Pass that it provides item level 960 gear to level your new Glavier or any other character you'd like. So this is something they do with every new class in other regions. When a new class comes out, they'll give you a power pass to some level, so you don't have to like start your character from level 1 and just have to manually do it. So it looks like this is what I predicted, actually. I didn't think they were gonna give us a Punica power pass. I figured it was gonna be Phaeton, but at least it gets you to the middle of tier 2. You get to 960. You can pump up the mats, get them to 1100, move them to Punica, and then you're into tier 3. But that's cool. So Glavier comes out in April, in the next few weeks, and you'll get a power pass to Phaeton, which you can use either on the Glavier or whoever you want. Now, this first one is awesome because this is one of my least favorite aspects about daily and weekly farming right now in Lost Ark. Improved co-op party play for secret maps. These are the maps you get from Chaos Gates. All 4 members can submit a map to get rewards with 1 run. So this is a feature that we knew was coming to Korea. I didn't think we were gonna get it so soon in the West, but that is awesome because that makes map runs so much more enjoyable. There's a secret benefit to this that they didn't mention. In some regions, I haven't run into it in the Western regions, but in other regions, like in Russia and Korea, there are instances where people will pretend like they have a map, take mats from everyone else's map, and then leave. So there's, basically theft. They'll scam you. But this makes it a lot easier. It means that you can just get into a group, share your maps, stockpile them all into one, do 1 map, and get 4 times the reward, which you can do with things like the cube. But this is huge because you end up doing, 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 of these a week, depending on how many rift pieces you spend. So being able to put these together and have secret maps for 1 is awesome. That's going to make it so much more enjoyable. Chat tab settings are shared across a player's roster. This just means if you jump into the game, it means that when you have chat tab settings, so if you say you go here, these are set per character right now on what you want in each tab. It's kind of annoying because if you have 12 characters like I do, you have to change these for every character. But it's kind of a nice quality of life where you can just set it once and then across the whole roster it'll update. And that's pretty cool. Improved book coordination settings can use skill presets, tribute levels, skill runes, gems, item set effects, etc. So this is just going to be another nice setup for us that makes things a little bit easier. Now May, they're starting this one out with a disclaimer. So I think based on this, the fact that Smilegate was in the US in Seattle talking to Amazon, and they talked as long as they did. Since I've been a developer before, I've done many publisher meetings. Based on how I read this, I think this is actually the roadmap for May. However, PR-wise, they're leaving this note so they can leave a room for them to change if things become different. But I think, based on my experience, they settled on a roadmap. And just in case things change, they're going to put this note, which is, we promise to be honest, sometimes brutally so, and now is one of those times. While we can say that we firmly plan on releasing the Destroyer Advanced class, Trial Guardian raids, and quality of life adjustments in May, Vultan's Legion raid and Descaluda, which is a new Guardian, will be moved if we feel these activities would create pressure within the community, which they did get pressure in the community from releasing Argos so early. And there was some, feeling that people were spending too much time with horizontal content, not progressing, and then they had to pay to get to Argos, which is true. And honestly, this week and next week are probably where most of your average players are getting to Argos, whereas it came out several weeks ago. So eventually, endgame content will be introduced, but players should feel comfortable to continue progressing at their own pace. So if they feel like they have to move based on how people have progressed in April, they will. But I'm guessing that this is the roadmap. Our data suggested that a big enough portion of active players will reach or be close to reaching the item levels needed to participate in higher end game, which is basically 1400 plus an eye level. Our goal is to provide fun content for players, even if it's a higher level, while never making players feel pressured that they need to pay to keep up. We will continue monitoring player feedback and data and provide updates when we're able to, as we strive to remain transparent in our communication and decision making. We appreciate your support and feedback, so please come, blah, blah, blah. New Warrior Advanced Class Destroyer. This one tells us a little bit, the fact that this is coming in May. This is a class, this is a warrior class. It is one of the more challenging to play, not in the way that it's like really complicated like Gunslinger or Deadeye or like Ignition Sork. More that it just is very slow with long windups. So it's kind of like Shock Training Scrapper where you have to plan your positioning well. It also doesn't have animation canceling like the Sork does. So the fact that Destroyer is coming out on this means that they're probably not planning a rework of any kind. So what you see as Destroyer in the other regions is what we're going to get, which personally for me is fine. But I know there was some people in other regions that were hoping for some polishing and some updates to Destroyer, which seems like we may not get that unless they're going to squeak it in when it comes out here. Who knows? We've talked about the cataclysm impact that warriors have on the battlefield, but nothing embodies this better than the hammer wielding Destroyer, which is basically a warrior DPS with a massive hammer. I'm definitely going to have one. Armed with a variety of skills centered around charging to the heart of the fray, their hammer attacks are so catastrophically crushing that destroyers can bend gravity to their will. So they have a cool passive where they build up stacks and they can spend them in different ways. They have lots of disruption, probably the highest stagger and weak point in the game. Like if you like succeeding at stagger checks, be a destroyer, because they have so much stagger in the kit. It's ridiculous. So very, very high. They're not as mobile, but they have some really cool burst. And in PvP, they end up being very support / CC oriented because they have tons of disruption and they can get some really cool burst windows as well. I'll be joining the Berserker, Paladin, and Gunlancer as the 4th warrior class, which is cool because we only have 3 in the West right now. Next, Trial Guardian raids. This is kind of what the Guardian event is trying to fill right now, the void of. These Trial Guardian raids should exist, but weren't in our client initially. Trial Guardian raids will add a new weekly activity for players looking for a challenge. Each week, players can attempt to defeat 3 Trial Guardians. You'll have a selection of 3. They're called heroic raids in other regions, but I guess they're calling them Trial here. And it's going to be another banner right next to the Guardian raid banner. And then you'll be able to enter this, and these will be scaled. The Trial Guardian raids will apply Scale of Harmony so that your character's item level will be adjusted appropriately to that of their enemy. This is essentially a way for them to reuse Guardians that were left behind in Tier 1 and Tier 2. You'll basically face off against like Alberhostic or Flamefox Yoho or Nakrasina or whatever, but you'll be facing them at their eye level scaled. So everyone that joins the party will have equal eye level to the Guardian. So it is actually pretty challenging to beat these guys because you can't just outgear them, but you do get benefits. And these will be, instead of a daily like the regular Guardians in other regions, this is a weekly reward, but it does give you quite a lot. Players cannot use the Battle Workshop in the raid region. However, with increased challenge comes increased rewards. Rewards can be attained once per roster per week and offer more diverse rewards than normal Guardian raids. So it's another weekly, kind of like Abyss Dungeons, and it is worth doing, and it does kind of make that old content feel interesting because you still have to remember how to fight them, and you face them at eye level, which is pretty cool. May also introduce a bunch of quality of life changes, including the ability to check daily and weekly content participation in a new menu, which is huge. In other regions, specifically Korea, if we pop in game real quick, there is on this screen a way for you to track which dailies are done, which weeklies are done for each character without having to swap to them, which is super cool. So it sounds like they're planning on maybe including that in a future update. UI updates, improved party finder and party invites, super cool. Updated loot dismantling, which there actually are some nice ones in other regions that we could stand to get. They're not super huge, but could be cool. Convenience features for market, auction house, and a few fun features like being able to randomly summon favorited mounts and new hairstyles. So there's customization in other regions that are like more varied that we didn't get in our initial launch. You can, get a character recustomization ticket, which you can buy in the store. So if you go in, I believe it's like 800 crystals, you can get the appearance change ticket that allow you to pick that up. I don't know if they have it in here. Essentials? No. Function. Character customization tickets. So you get, if you want to change your main and they're already leveled before you make them, you can change them at any time. And they do usually give those out at various periods for in packs or for giveaways, things like that. And then May tentative. This is a new Guardian raid after the ones that we have. Deska Luda. Super cool. Basically has the Helgaia model and rig and animations. And it has a bunch of new mechanics. This is a cool fight. Very fun. Guardians are powerful entities that can tip the scales toward good or evil. A new Guardian will arise and must be vanquished before they usher in an age of darkness. Deskaluda will be one of the most powerful Guardians in Acacia to us in the West, requiring a high item level to enter the counter 1415. Super cool though, but it's nice to look forward to that, and that kind of goes along with the Legion raid. The first Legion raid we get, it's called a Legion raid because in the lore, these are your Legion commanders, the demon commanders, the demon overlords. Vultan's the first one, normal and hard. And it is much harder and much more engaging than even Argo. So this is kind of when things start to really get fun in Lost Ark, Vultan and onward. And it keeps getting better after Vultan. Vultan will introduce the first Legion raid into the Western version of Lost Ark. Legion raids are difficult team-based activities that require teamwork to understand and enact the strategy necessary to counter each Legion commander's unique characteristics, abilities, and mechanics. Legion raids are challenging and take time. There are gates at checkpoints, just like Argos, that will save players' progress as they advance to the raid. Vultan is an 8-player Legion raid introduces a bunch of new mechanics, and you will need 14-15 to queue up. So basically, they're planning Vaulton tentatively in May, which means you have until probably mid or late May to get 14-15 if you want to do it, but you don't have to do it on launch. And you'll share more information on Legion raids when they approach. Looking ahead, once again, this is not all the content that we'll release in April and May. This is just a high level. There's going to be a bunch more, which I personally hope there's going to be like character limit increases and things like that. But this is cool. It means that at a very high level, the summary is in April, we're getting quality life, including the secret maps, which is awesome. It's going to make that so much easier to do. It means you just do your Chaos Gate and then you do one map and then you're done and you get 4 times the rewards. South Vern, which is it's a 1340 continent, so more tier 3 content. Glavier, which is the Lancemaster in other regions, so which means we're getting her and South Vern in the next couple weeks, which is awesome. And then in May, Destroyer, another advanced class. Trial Guardian raids or Challenge Guardian raids to get more loot, so more weekly activities to get more materials and more rewards, which helps us with the grind. And then potentially even Descaluda as another Guardian, and Vaulton as the first Legion raid in May as well. So this is a high level. I'm sure we'll get more updates. But what do you guys think? Was anyone, I can already see people that wanted Destroyer. It was promised that Destroyer was coming, but weren't sure if it's going to be April or May. I think they pushed hard to get the Glavier out sooner because this one is highly anticipated. A lot of people want this class out. So are you excited about Glavier coming? Are you excited about Destroyer coming, albeit next month, possibly? Legion raids coming out. Do you feel like the timeline for Vaulton coming out in mid to late May is soon enough, or is it too soon? Are you at Argos already and just desperately waiting, or kind of where you're at? So let me know what you guys think about this overall roadmap. It's very high level, but it's very encouraging and it's exciting. So yeah, let's buckle in and get ready because the stuff's coming soon. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.